Regardless of your skill level, by the end of this video, you're going to learn how to win infinitely more games in College Football 25. Now, I've competed in football games for a very long time, and I've made thousands of dollars along the way, so I can guarantee you everything I show in this video will help you win. And make sure to stay until the end of the video because the tips get better and better as the video progresses. The first tip I'm going to show you is something I like to call the run commit glitch. To use the run commit glitch, you must first understand what run committing is and why it's so effective and what this actually allows you to do. So run committing pretty much is when you press the right bumper and down on the right stick, or left or right on the right stick, depending if you are running left or running right, or committing to the run left or run right, I should say. And what will normally happen is if our opponent runs the ball, it'll shut it down in the backfield every single time because every player on the field is playing run first. However, if you were to run commit and guess incorrectly, and our opponents instead call a pass play, and then they actually pass the football, especially if they have a streak on the field, you're going to see that they're going to have a pretty easy touchdown every single time. But what the run commit glitch actually allows us to do is run commit and have our defense still play their pass responsibilities only if our opponent passes. This makes sure that even when you run commit, you're always guessing right. So what you want to do this is call a cover zero play, where every player on the field is either in man coverage or blitzing. So in this case, the outside corners are in man coverage and the safeties are in man coverage, and every other player is blitzing. So long story short, all I'm gonna have to do is press the right bumper and down on the right stick. And if they were to run the ball, we're going to shut that down in the backfield every single time. But what the run commit glitch actually allows us to do is do this exact same thing, but even when they pass the football, you're going to see every player maintains their responsibilities in the pass game. So basically, you could run commit every single time and really do so with no consequences. So if they were to run the ball, you're gonna shut it down. And if they were to pass the ball, your players will play their responsibilities in man coverage. The next tip is to spam fully stemmed corner routes. Now, what I mean by fully stemmed corner route is I mean putting a hot route corner route on the field by pressing triangle and then the receiver icon that we're going to put a corner route on. I like it to be my wide side receiver, so I'm gonna press square or X on Xbox, and then I'm gonna press left on the right stick, or pretty much whatever side of the field the receiver is on, you wanna press that side on the right stick. Now that puts your receiver on a corner route. But what I'm talking about is stemmed corner routes. Now, to stem a corner route, you're gonna wanna stem it down by pressing triangle or Y, the receiver icon, and then hold the left bumper and then press down all the way on the left stick. And what that'll do is stem that outside receiver on that corner route that puts him on a completely different style of corner route that cuts up the field almost immediately. The reason this is so effective is that this will beat the most common zone and man coverage defenses in the game. So for example, right now I'm going against a cover 3 defense. And if they were in a cover 3 defense, you're gonna see that the corner route on the square receiver is going to be wide open to the sideline for an easy possession catch every single time. And now most people, when you run something like this, will switch to a cover 2 defense. But what you're actually going to note with a cover 2 defense like so, with cloud flats and things like that, you're going to see that this corner route, even when it's fully stemmed all the way down, will still get open and get over the cloud flat, and it'll often be a huge gain. So it really will beat any zone defense in the game. And then on top of that, if they do run a man coverage defense like this, like a cover 0, you're gonna see that this will also do a pretty good job at beating man coverage, of course, depending on the receiver that you have. But since they're cutting so quickly, you just throw a nice outside pass lead, and if you get that possession catch, you're also going to be able to beat man coverage quite easily. So that's why I highly recommend you use stemmed corner routes, because they will allow you to beat every single coverage in the game, only using one route. The next thing you must know is how to shoot both shotgun and under center runs. To shoot shotgun runs, I highly recommend you run 4 down lineman sets like 4-3 even 6-1 that I have on screen right now. To shoot any shotgun run, all you want to do is pinch your defensive line by pressing left on the D-pad down on the left stick, and then crashing your defensive line down by pressing left on the D-pad down on the right stick. Now, it doesn't matter what other zones or other things on the field are, as long as you have a similar alignment like this. You can do this in any 4-3 set, you can do this in most nickel sets where you have 4 defensive linemen on the field. Then you're going to sit right over the center, and when the ball is snapped, you're going to loop around and shoot through the B gap between the left guard and the left tackle, and this will help you shoot 95% plus of any shotgun runs. So when they snap the ball, you're going to see I'm just going to loop around, and right there, I'm fully there to make the tackle and cause our opponent to lose yards on their shotgun run. Now, this is extremely easy. All you do is loop around, find the gap, and go make the tackle. And if they go to the inside, they're gonna run into your defensive line that you have pinched and crashed down. To stop under center runs, you're basically gonna do the exact same thing. You're gonna pinch your defensive line, crash your defensive line down, sit right over the center, and then you're going to loop, instead of through the B gap between the right guard and right tackle, you're going to loop through the C gap outside of either of the tackles, depending on where we expect them to run. In this case, the heavy side of the field is the right side of the field. So we're going to expect that they're going to run to the right. And then all we're going to do is loop through the gap, and you're going to see our user and sometimes the defensive line is there to make the tackle. Just so you see it on the replay, we are looping around outside of the tackle, and either our defensive line or we're both going to come free and make the tackle for a loss of 3 to 4 yards. And if they were to run to the inside of the field, let's say they ran something like HB smash, the exact same technique will work. You're going to see that if we pinch and crash down and really look to loop around the strong side of the field, in that case, that's the right. And what you're going to see is that they're not going to be able to run that, and it'll either be shot in the backfield or our user will be there to make a quick and easy tackle. For this next tip, I will show you how to easily stop those pesky corner routes that people use online. To do this, you must first go to your coaching adjustments by pressing the right stick down, and then scrolling over to where it says curl flats and setting them to a depth of 25. Now this will make them play at a 25-yard depth, which is the perfect depth to cover both deep corners and short corners. For example, if they were to use that same stemmed corner route that we've been using and talking about in this video, you're going to see that it'll actually play it super well. So let's say they run this corner route, I snap the ball, you're gonna see that the curl flat sits right in the perfect spot for a quick interception if our opponent decided to throw it. And then on top of that, if they were to run a super deep corner route, so something, let's say like this, where they have a flat, or let's say a zig route. Let's say they have a flat, a zig, and a corner, which is a common combo you may face online. You're still gonna see that this curl flat zone sits in the perfect spot even for the deep corner route. It actually matches on, and you could see that the curl flat will stick right with it. So I highly recommend you use curl flats whenever you want to stop people using corner routes on you. If you're serious about getting better at college football or Madden 25, you should definitely check out my exclusive content on victoryformation.gg. In it, we already have over 24 tips in the laboratory, as well as my full Charlotte tight doubles offensive game plan and 4-3 even 6-1 defensive game plan. Just 3 of the tips in the lab break down the best money route combo, how to roll out on any defense, and a completely broken QB run glitch. I'm also dropping my last sale of 2024 for 7 days only, which gives you a $30 discount off my already discounted yearly membership price, making it only $60 for all of my exclusive Madden and CFB content for the entire year when you use code M25. The Scum Kick is something us old Madden players call a kick that is almost impossible to pick up and pits you at the 5 to 10 yard line. In this section, I'll show you exactly how to do it. To perform the Scum Kick, you must first be on the tap and tap kick setting. That's really important. And to actually do it, what you're going to do is hold the left stick down so the arrow drops like so, and you're gonna aim for the 2 lines that are between the green and the orange. Not the middle line, but the 2 lines outside of the middle line. It's also important that you don't want to end up in the orange zone. You want to be on the inside of those lines. So I'm gonna try my best to show you exactly what I mean. So once again, we're gonna aim for right about there, and then you're not gonna touch the power meter, and what you're going to see is it's gonna bounce in a spot where they cannot return it. The ball will bounce to about the 5 yard line, and what you will see is they're either gonna start at the 6 or the 7 yard line, or in many cases, they're going to take a safety. And just to show you that it's consistent, hold the meter down, and then all you're gonna do is aim for this part of the accuracy meter, and it's gonna end up in a spot where they simply cannot return it, and it'll bounce a couple times, maybe even sometimes you'll be able to pick up an easy fumble. The next tip is to spam direct snap runs like Wildcat and QB Zone for the numbers advantage it gives you. So to run Wildcat, it's actually very easy simply because you have that numbers advantage I talked about. And when I say that numbers advantage, I mean we have 10 blockers in Wildcat. You could see that I have my entire offensive line, my tight end, my fullback, and 2 receivers blocking for me on any given play. That's 10 blockers, which compared to a single back run would be only 9 blockers. This will usually give us an advantage over the defense to whichever side we run to. For example, you could see if I didn't have that extra blocker, that could have only been a 10-yard gain. But this Wildcat power that is so effective, actually, because we have that extra blocker, we can score a touchdown. Now, you're really gonna see Wildcat is one of the best formations to spam in college football 25. Patch, no patch, it really doesn't matter. You can guarantee yourself at least 5 to 10 yards every single rip of the snap. But if you have a very good and powerful running offense with some good blockers, you can usually guarantee yourself 10 plus yards every single snap. And now it doesn't just have to be the Wildcat power. You have a lot of other great runs in the Wildcat unbalanced. You can actually use the jet sweep and things of that nature, the counters. All of that is extremely effective and can lead to a very, very powerful offense and a ton of touchdowns for you. You can see that I already got 2 touchdowns out of the 4 runs here. And it just really is a testament to how effective Wildcat is in college football 25. Just like Wildcat, QB direct snap runs are very effective because you have those 10 blockers. So for example, if I were to run the ball here, you're going to see that I have a numbers advantage to one side of the field, where if I make one man miss, it will oftentimes be a touchdown. So QB zones and things like that are very effective. QB draw is also very effective because you're always going to have that numbers advantage. However, this one in trips tight end in the Alabama playbook is one of the most effective because to cover trips tight end, you need to man align. So not only do we have a numbers advantage, but we actually have an even further numbers advantage because most of our opponent's players will have to align on the left. So in general, run a ton of direct snap runs because it's the best way to run the ball in college football 25. The next tip is to shade your yellow zones to easily cover the middle of the field. To show you why shading your yellow zones is so important, I'm going to run the play Durham, which is one of the best zone beaters in college football 25. Because this tight end wheel will be wide open against literally every zone defense in the game. But to actually cover it while still maintaining a good zone defense, you need to shade your hook zones outside and underneath by pressing triangle or Y right on the right stick, triangle or Y down on the right stick. So it's a very simple adjustment. And what you're gonna see is if I run this exact same play, that the tight end wheel is covered by our linebacker completely. Usually it would be an interception. And then on top of that, if they run other route combos, maybe something, let's say like this, which is very common, where they go to throw to a running back streak, it actually covers the same area of the field, and this will completely prevent them from throwing a running back streak early or late in the play. You can see your linebackers right there to knock it out or for an interception. On top of that, the other reason these hook curls are so effective is that if our opponent decides to run any in routes or drag routes, shaded outside and underneath hook curls will be in the perfect area to cover them. So let's say you didn't have a flat zone on the right, you're going to see that my shaded outside and underneath hook curl sits far enough down to go and make a play on that running back in route. So it's amazing at covering wheels, running back streaks, drags, underneath routes. It pretty much is a super hook curl or a super yellow zone. So make sure to shade your hook curls like I described. If you want to succeed on defense, you need to use the best type of blitz in the game, which is called a disengage blitz. Now to run a disengage blitz, you're gonna wanna select the nickel 3-3 double mug or any double mug style of defense. Now it'll also work from 3-3-5 penny if you pinch and crash your defensive line down, and it'll also work from 4-3 even 6-1 in the 4-3 multiple playbook, because this is just a blitzing concept that you can actually use out of a lot of formations that I haven't even mentioned. But to do it in general, all you actually have to do is pinch your defensive line by pressing left on the D-pad, down on the left stick, left on the D-pad, down on the right stick. Now that will pinch and crash your defensive line down and cause them to bump into each other, creating a disengage in the middle of the field. And when you send 6 people, even when they have an extra blocker in the backfield like their running back, you're going to see that this blitz will come in directly through the middle because of that disengage. And then something that a lot of players do online that makes this even more effective is they actually put both of their defensive ends, they put them in coverage. And usually that coverage is a hard flat. So to do that, we're going to press left on the D-pad twice, square or X on Xbox, left on the left stick. And then we're going to put this player in a hard flat as well by pressing left on the D-pad twice, circle or B on Xbox, and then putting them in a hard flat like so. Then you're just going to sit right over the center and hold the left trigger. And the majority of the time, you're going to see that your players will disengage and 1 or 2 players will come in after bumping into each other a few times. This makes it so that you could send only 4 people and they could block 6, and you get a pretty guaranteed pass rush even when you have the lesser team, simply because they bump into each other and then eventually they get to the backfield. This is the best way to blitz right now, whether you have quick jumps or whether you don't. This is something you need to do on defense. To be an elite CFB player, you need to be able to bomb the most common coverages for one play touchdowns. Now, to bomb the most common coverage defense in the game, which is a cover 3 defense, all you actually have to do is have a deep post route like this, which you can hot route, and a corner route on the short side of the field. So I'm just going to put my square receiver, number 17, on a corner by pressing triangle or Y, square or X on Xbox, and left on the right stick. And what you'll actually see is that this super deep corner route will get over the outside third and be wide open for a 1-play touchdown. Now, don't worry if you don't have a deep post on any play. You can actually hot route a deep post. So for example, if I have everything else the same, you can just put on your triangle receiver, I'll put them on a drag for now to show you, and then you're gonna press triangle, triangle, or YY up on the right stick. This will put them on a regular post, but you're gonna have to custom stem them 2 notches up. So triangle, or triangle again, so YY, and then up on the left stick, and you flick it twice, 1, 2. And then that'll put him far enough that he'll get over that outside third. And that's all you actually need to bomb cover 3. And you'll be able to do so every single time. Just a deep post and a corner route on the opposite short side of the field, and you're there beating cover 3 and 90% of your opponents every single rip. Having good pocket is easily the most important offensive skill you can have as a college football 25 player. So I'm going to show you how to instantly give yourself this skill. So to do this, all you're gonna do is hold the left stick up before the snap happens. Now this will make it so the first step with your quarterback is up, and then what that will actually do is make sure that you have those extra lanes when stepping up in the pocket. So for example, I'm gonna hold the left stick up when I snap. My first step with my quarterback will be up, and then just like that, you could see these lanes, and they actually turn into rushing lanes. They turn into lanes that allow you to pass better. This really does change the game for you. Just hold the left stick up and look for a lane. Like right here, you can see this is wide open. And just like that, I'm able to make that read, and I'm gonna have a ton of time in the pocket because of that. Now, a lot of people might say, what if you face a send 4 rush or a send 5 rush? The same technique is even more effective in that case. Step up in the pocket, look for where the gap is, and you're gonna see, you're going to find it the majority of the time. So if you do take a sack, you will end up either gaining yards or losing 1 yard, or you're actually going to end up rushing for a few yards, right? So right here, you could see I'm stepping up in the pocket, and then I'm given a ton more time. And if I ever do take a sack, it only ends up being for a 2-yard loss. But the majority of the time, you're gonna step up in the pocket, and this will actually open up new passing windows that allow you to dot up your opponents for easy gains. Now, if you're looking for some amazing money plays to use with the tips you already know, check out the video right now on screen.